Hey, hey, welcome to the Struggling Hunters podcast. I'm Joe Imes,
And I'm Eric Stewart.
and this here we are on another podcast adventure. We're sitting here, discussing some memories and whatnot, and some hunting strategies that we're going to be working on this coming year. But before we get going into that, how was your this past weekend for you, Eric?
Joe, it was pretty good. I went and hung out with my wife's family. I get along with them really well. Myself, her grandpa, and her brother, we all went out for this big long drive. He so my wife's grandpa used to own a bunch of sheep and a bunch of land, and we kind of or him and his family did rather, and we went on this drive where he kind of used to roam and kind of herd the sheep and stuff, and he was kind of pointing all this stuff and showing us all this stuff, and I got to see this gate that that him and his family put together. I mean, we're talking like 60 years ago. It's still standing up, still being used to this day. That was a really cool. I got a picture of it and everything. That was a really cool part of the trip. Just seeing that, he's like, yeah, this gate's been here since I was a kid or whatever, and I just thought that was really neat getting to see that, and the fact that it's still in operation today after all these years. And then, so we did that. And then, I'm proud to say that I was the only one to, get some prairie dogs. So on this drive, we were on private property, and we're kind of out in the back hills, and there's a couple spots where there's some prairie dogs. And I got the chance to take the old 17. It was my wife's grandpa's 17, and shoot some prairie dogs. I got two. I missed a couple the other day, but I got two. I was feeling pretty good about myself, and then the last one that I shot at, I missed, and I missed twice. It was kind of embarrassing, but I don't know what happened. I hit the first one, or this was the last one that I shot, but I hit the first one, knocked it out. It was annihilated, and then there was another one, and I went to go aim at it, and I missed, and I was like, I don't know what happened. I put another shell in, and I did the same thing, and missed again, and what the heck's going on? So I don't know if I just got a little excited and was shaking a little too much, or I don't know what happened, but I missed twice on my last prairie dog. But I was feeling pretty good all the way through, but we had a blast. It was a really good time. I didn't go turkey hunting last weekend because we were kind of doing a bunch of family stuff for birthdays and stuff like that. So this week, I'm actually thinking about tomorrow evening going out and doing some turkey hunting with my son, and then try to make up for not going turkey hunting this last weekend and do some turkey hunting this coming weekend. But yeah, that's kind of what I did all weekend. What about you, Joe?
I hung around the house this weekend. It was one of those weekends that didn't really have a lot planned, but but it was a good weekend. One thing I did get accomplished, so I'll show you. Made this little pin.
Yeah.
Like it came as a kit, and then that piece of wood there I worked on and put it all together. It took me a little bit. The chunk of wood started off pretty big, and I don't have a lathe or nothing, so I had a little 7-inch belt grinder thing, table or planer.
Yeah.
I think is what they call it. But I just took that, flipped it upside down, and tightened it up in my vise, and then spent a couple hours trying to turn it into a dowel. And it's not a perfect pin, but it's a pin. It writes, it works, and I'm pretty proud about it for a first try. It was fun.
Yeah.
Like I said, didn't do too much, but it was okay. Monday got here, and I was like, well, didn't do anything really. Sunday we vegged on the couch all day. But it was one of those times. It was like it was a proper weekend. It was what we needed. So
Yeah, definitely. You got to have those every once in a while. I mean, you just got to relax. And I know I do. I mean, I know I need those weekends to just completely unwind, because especially this time of year, doing the outside work in the lawn and trying to get landscaping done and everything else. Just once in a while, it's nice to just take a weekend and relax.
yeah,
But that pin's pretty cool though. I like that pin. That's pretty
yeah,
nifty.
yeah. Like I said, it's something I've had it for a couple months to get a little closer. And there's a little blemish there that I had to sand out where the what do you call it? I guess whatever this metal piece is in the wood,
Yeah.
where that lined up, that was, that the metal piece was up a little bit. So I had to file or sand that down so that way it wasn't too much of a lip right there.
Yeah.
But, I don't know if I will or not, but let's see. That's just a piece of plastic, I think. But maybe someday I'll take that off and put my own little gem on there if I want. But it's I don't know, it was fun. If you have nothing to do, and you want something to do, I'd suggest doing it.
Yeah, no, it looks like a fun project. I think it's neat, really neat. Looks really cool. I was gonna add one thing that with my weekend, I found a cow skull, or we all did, but we found a full cow skull. So I'm gonna probably do something with that and hang it up in my son's bedroom.
Have you seen some of the, I don't know, the artwork and stuff that they do on like skulls? Like you can take it and they'll do a painting on it.
Yep.
Or they'll go and grind out and I guess, cut through the skull and do a design into the skull or whatnot. And I think some of that's kind of cool.
Yeah, no, it is. And we might end up doing something like that later on. I think big thing right now is just getting it cleaned up, and then we might figure out a way to hang it on his wall, and then maybe later on do some kind of paint. He was all into the painting idea. We kind of brought it up already, and he was all into that. So that was kind of exciting too. But yeah, it was just a really good weekend that way, and had a lot of fun. Like I said, this next weekend I plan on trying to get out in the woods and work on my turkey call. I still can't figure out if they're running away from me or if
There's just none there.
Yeah, exactly. If there's none there, if they're just like, that stupid human's trying to call at us again. So
I was going to ask you, about that, if you used a call or not, or what type of a call that you use. Is it one of those ones you got to kind of shake, or is you got, a little squeaker box?
I've been trying to use my mouth reed that I have.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, I just use that, and I don't know. I've always just really liked trying to use the mouth reed and making the noise with your mouth. I'm not very good at it. I mean, this year is really the first year that I tried to get a little bit better at with. I think here's what it comes down to is I don't know. I like to try that stuff, and I don't really get too nervous of it. I feel like a lot of people, a lot of dudes, if they've never done it before, if they didn't grow up around it, like they kind of tend to stay away from it because it's kind of embarrassing, making yourself sound, especially if you go out in the woods and you don't even know if you're doing a good job. And, Hunter Frank is down the way, and he's like, who's making that squawking noise? Like making calls could be intimidating is what I'm getting at. But I try, I kind of put myself out there and just try to, because it'd be cool someday to at least be considered okay at it or decent enough that people, want me to do the calling for them because they think I'm at least decent enough to bring in whatever. So yeah. So long story short, yeah, I've been doing my own calls. I haven't been doing much of them. Kind of what my deal is, especially because I don't think I'm that good. What I kind of do is I might do a few calls and see if I can spot or and I haven't had any luck at it, but like see if I can at least spot where the turkey may be, right? So if I do a couple calls and I hear something, then I'll start heading that direction. But I'm not confident enough yet to be in a full conversation with the turkey. It's more of just kind of trying to see if I can figure out where they are, more or less of what I'm doing right now.
So are you hunting where someone's told you there's been turkeys, or are you doing more of a, this looks like a turkey spot, I'm going to go ahead and let some calls out here?
Yeah. So, I pretty much just use Onyx to try to figure out where to go. Um, turkey season is kind of my excuse right now to explore other areas of the woods because, as you know, I have the area where I go elk hunting, but I'm kind of using the turkey season to explore other parts of the woods and try to learn the terrain on other ends of Colorado, I guess, on other sides. Onyx has a pretty cool thing where basically it tells you where, I don't know how accurate it is. I haven't really done that much research on it, but it'll tell you where the turkeys like have basically been spotted or where there's turkey activity is what it says. So it doesn't tell you where Bill the turkey is, but it'll tell you where turkey activity is, give or take.
So it's one of those things that like, oh, hey, if you're new to hunting, you don't understand where to go, and you might not, and you're struggling a little bit, here's an opportunity where you might want to look at.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of what I've been doing, and actually using it for turkey season. I've gotten a little more used to it and done a few different things where I understand it on a different level than elk season or deer and elk season. So it's kind of been good, kind of keeping myself familiar because the last couple of years I've had the Onyx app for about a couple of years or whatnot, and Onyx needs to pay us some money for all the free advertisement. But no, they are a good company, and they're a good company for a reason. I mean, I really like their stuff. I mean, I
Sure.
use it all the time when we're up there in the Uncle Padre. But anyway, yeah. So I've been using it a lot for this turkey season. I've been getting more familiar with it and everything, and so hopefully it kind of helps transition over to the elk season this year too. Kind of lost where we were going, or I can't remember the question. Rather,
I just
you
was
asked.
asking. I think it all started off what type of a turkey call that you use, but I think we established that you're full of hot air, so you use the mouth reeds.
Yeah. No, you're exactly right. Speaking of, I remember I've been known to use this, but if we're going back a little bit, I remember I want to say that you were talking to your uncle. We were kids, we were teenagers or whatnot, and you said, "Man, this doe was." You know what I'm talking about yet?
Yeah.
This doe was blowing at me, and do you want to say it or you want me to?
Yeah. So I think it was the first time. So this particular hunt, I had my brother with me, my brother Josh, and we were hunting this one little draw area, and we set up on like it was this wide open, almost it wasn't a big draw, but it was a wide open hillside, and we set behind this bush. We're two bushes. I think we're separated. I can't remember the distance. So he was old enough to hunt. So he had to, he was 12 or 13. So I think that puts me about, like 15-ish. And so we're sitting there and being quiet, hiding behind these bushes, and this doe starts walking along this trail. and starts, and he gets within probably 20 yards from him, and I think it's 30 yards from me, and I've never experienced this, been this close to a deer, besides going down the road and be like, oh look, there's a deer, but so and the deer like stomped the ground and like stood up and did the whole little like blew at us. And so I was like, my brother his eyes got all wide, my eyes got all wide. We're like, what was that? And so we stayed calm, but both of us were kind of shaking a little bit because that was a whole new experience for hunting for us. And so I went and, a couple months later, we're down hanging out with my uncles and I was telling my uncle about it, and I was like kind of, all excited. And he's like, oh, well, Joe, at least you know that, one thing you learn from that is, women are all just full of hot air.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny. I mean, you told me however old you were whenever you told me that, and I remembered it all these years, and I've repeated it, in a joking manner, whenever talking to friends or whatever. And I've repeated that story a few times. It's kind of
yeah, and I was like, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. No, that was good, but yeah, I guess you could say I'm full of hot air too. But no, it's fun to do though, doing the calling thing, and really, I mean, I think I said it before in one of the other podcasts, but the turkey hunting is kind of a newer experience for me, but just kind of using it for all kinds of reasons, really. I mean, to get me and my son out there, he can actually, I'm wanting to get him like some kind of shotgun that he can shoot. He's only 8, so I don't know. I might have to wait a year, maybe 2, but in Colorado, you don't have to, if I understood what I read right, you don't have to have, they can shoot turkey at any age. I mean,
as long as they're accompanied with an adult or
with an adult. Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha.
So I got really excited about that because I'm like, cool, I can get him out hunting before we go hunt. I mean, even though he goes with us and kind of scouts with us more or less or whatever with elk hunting and stuff, but he could start kind of getting into the hunting scene through turkey and stuff. So that was one reason that I wanted to get doing it. And then the other one was to get out in the woods and explore the woods. And then just in general, just get out and just another excuse to get out to the woods and, have some fun and hopefully.
Oh, for sure. That's, I haven't turkey hunt. So growing up there in Idaho, I turkey hunted a couple of times because, it was an excuse to get out and be in the woods to hunt, but I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I had one friend that had access to some property. And I remember me and him, we'd go out and we'd walk, like just take off walking and do like a big old loop. And I remember the only turkey we saw that we didn't see until it flew off was this big old tom. It was sitting on a fence post, and we were just walking along. All of a sudden, the turkey like flies off this fence post. Both of us look at each other and we shoot at it. Being, I think I might have been 13. I was just like, oh look, just aim and shoot in the general direction, and not knowing the limits. I'm sure it was like way farther than the gun was good for, but anyways, that's one thing that I'm going to start getting into as well as turkey hunting. So Utah, we have 2 seasons. We have a spring and a fall, and the spring you can you have to draw for a tag for a permit to hunt. And then in the fall, I think you can get 3 tags or 3 permits. And and then it's like it goes from November to I think the end of January or the end of December. I need to follow up on that. But I was thinking of start doing that just to get an extra season in of something to be able to hunt. But I don't know much about hunting turkeys.
Yeah, no, it's been a learning experience for me too. And speaking of Idaho, I was just like, man, why would I go walk out in the woods whenever I could just drive up Beaver Creek on top there, or Beaver Slide, sorry, walk up or drive up on top of Beaver Slide, and they're always right there in that farmer's field. Like, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like I mean, I saw them right there on the side of the road more than I did ever in the woods. So, but the one thing that I wish that I kind of feel bad that I didn't just go out and do it for myself and kind of experience it. I kind of let other people's influence. So a lot of people used to tell me that they're like, oh, those wild turkeys, they're no good. You don't want it, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, wild turkeys don't taste good. So why shoot them? But as I've gotten older and everything, it's more, so that's why I never really turkey hunted back then. But now that I've gotten older, I'm like, man, I let other people kind of, take that experience away from me because they said that it didn't taste good. But how do I know that they don't taste good? So.
Right. Well, like the interesting thing though, like along the lines of I guess game meat not tasting good and stuff, like that's one of the things when I tell people I hunt elk or deer. I guess I hunt deer. I haven't got an elk yet, but
yeah.
But everyone's like, oh, like you eat the deer? I was like, yeah, it's delicious. And my wife, her dad, got a couple deer growing up, and she doesn't really remember eating them, but now like, I guess let me get back. So people are always, like, it's so gamey. It doesn't taste very good. Well, like some of that's, you learning how to take care of your quarry after you've you've taken it and cleaned it up, make sure, you keep the meat clean, you take care of it, and that turns out good. Like, when we cook up a piece of meat that from a deer that I've gotten, Jen, she doesn't mind it. Like, she doesn't taste bad. So I don't know that I've ever had wild turkey, but as long as it's taken care of, I don't see why it wouldn't be bad. Like, that's been my experience. If you take care of it, it turns out okay.
Yeah, no, I feel the same way. And well, the great thing with social media and stuff, there's so many different recipes out there, and actually that book that the Steve Rinella cookbook,
Yeah.
that turkey recipe that they have in there, I'm like, man, I want to try that so bad. I want to see what it tastes like, and so yeah, that's probably the recipe that I'll do if I get successful and get myself a turkey. Hopefully I do. But I mean, actually, I will get me a turkey. But
yeah, well, you out in the woods with 2 turkeys every time, huh?
Yeah. That's true. That's true. Oh man. Yeah, I don't even know where to go. I don't know where to go after that, man.
So like living like what so both of us are, we both left Idaho, 10, 12 years ago. I haven't really been back hunting. I think I've been back once. But anyways, we're both in 2 different states, and I think Idaho has, pretty good odds, for hunting elk and whatnot. But like, we seem to have, both of us have migrated to other states, not on purpose. But I need to fact check on the populations though. But I know that like Colorado, I think is it number 1 or number 2? I think it's number 2 in the elk populations in Utah. I don't know how great it is, but it has some pretty good elk hunting opportunities. But I don't know. It just seems kind of like it's for you at least having the opportunity, to hunt elk there in Colorado. As not that I don't have the opportunity. I got the out of state opportunity, which I'm going to. I want to try one of these times. Is once we get things figured out a little bit more there in Colorado, I want to try to hop over and fill a Colorado elk tag.
Yeah, do an out of state hunt. It's funny you say that because I want to do the same exact thing. I want to be able to go over there during your, like whenever you're hunting or whatever, and where we both are able to carry a rifle and both have the chance to shoot an elk. But
so have you had an opportunity? Like, have you been ever presented with a shot of an elk?
No,
While you've been a tag holder, I'm sure you've had opportunity.
No, I've seen,
but
I swear whenever it's not hunting season, I'm almost running over the damn things on the highway. But whenever season opens up, it seems like I don't see them. That one year was the most elk that I ever saw. Like, we saw all those cows, right?
Yeah.
We never did see a bull that year, but right, yeah, we never did. But no, I've never even had an opportunity to even think about pulling the trigger. One thing, I don't know. I go back and forth. So that area is bull only, so it doesn't really matter. But
right.
Or I think during the second season and third season, it's bull only. I think there is one season that they allow you both cow and bull. But I've thought about that, just trying, like, even just getting a cow tag just to try to,
fill that opportunity.
But yeah, I just haven't had an opportunity to shoot at a bull yet, and it's getting kind of frustrating. So, what about you? Have you had much of an opportunity?
So it's kind of funny. So the first year that I tried hunting elk here in Utah, I went with this guy from work. I helped him out a little bit, and so he was trying to repay the favor and taking me elk hunting and he didn't really guide me. He just, we hunted our own. He's all, "Can you hunt by yourself?" Or, asking, can I go out in the woods and come back to the camp every night, or, like, be gone all day and not get lost or get hurt. So I was like, "Oh, I'm comfortable. I haven't got lost yet." And I tried not to, I tried to make sure I keep track what's around me. And anyways, and so he let me go. I went off my way and he went off his, and he kind of told me where to go. And so this is, I guess, like, kind of a struggle I have. I guess it's a struggle of ethics. I think I did the right thing, but so, like, the first morning it was only like a 2-day hunt. We did a Saturday. Did we do Saturday, Sunday, or Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I think is what it was. But so the first day, he tells me, go down this ridge and then, bell off the east side of it and just kind of hunt your way back up to the camp. I was like, okay. I go down and looking back, I should have been paying attention to the wind. That's one thing I've never really paid attention to. I've just always, like, I'm going that way, I'm going to go that way. And so I belled off the edge of the ridge, went down halfway down the mountain until I found this little bench that, kind of skirted along the side of the mountain. I didn't really think much of it, but on this bench, there was all these little pockets of little pine trees that were between, 2 to 8 feet tall. And, like, they're like, it's not really crop circles, but they were just these little meadows that were, mixed in in these little along this bench, and I was taking my time, going as these meadows are probably 20 yards of worth of clearing, and so I'd go to an edge of one of these little meadows, look into it, and kind of look around the area, and then I'd skirt around it and then go to the next one, and then I just wasn't looking far enough ahead of me. And then when I did finally look ahead of me, I looked up and there was an elk looking back at me, and I think we looked at each other at the same time, and I think he was only like 50 yards. He was probably a little further than that. So he had enough of me within 2 seconds. He took off running, and I was like, well, there was my chance, and but I noticed the direction that he's running, there's an opening in between, these little pine trees. I was like, well, if I'm going to have a chance to shoot, it's going to be that opening, because that's going to be the only thing wide enough where there's no, I'm not going to hit a tree. But I feel like that thing was on a dead run. And so I pull up my gun and I hold right at the beginning where he'd be running into it first. And sure enough, that's where he hits, or he runs through. And so I had, this all happened within probably not even 30 seconds, but, I had to make up my mind. Do I try to shoot this elk while it's on a full bore run, or, do I not shoot? And I made the decision not to shoot, just because, I didn't want to wound the animal and not recover it or whatnot, because it was running. So that was one opportunity. And then another one, it wasn't really an opportunity, but it was, a 600-yard shot. I think, was it that evening? Yeah, I think it was that evening, 600-yard shot across, a canyon, and it was getting night, dark, and it was in an area, again, this is my first year hunting elk, and the first time I've been in this area. So I was like, I don't want to be trying to track an elk down in an area that I'm not too familiar with. And I was like, well, I think I can make the shot, but like ethically, I probably shouldn't. So, yeah. I mean, I guess I should take that back. Me and my father-in-law had cow tags on a CWMU unit here in Utah, and we ended up shooting the same cow. But we don't know who really got it. He tagged it, but I think he got it. I don't know. So so I fired at least one elk, but I've never got one myself.
Gotcha. Well, it sounds like you've had a little more action than I have. But another thing, though, that's so hard about the elk that was running through the trees, right?
Yeah.
So when do you like, a lot of the times whenever you do get those opportunities, they are, 5-second, 10-second windows where you have to make these split-second decisions of, like sometimes you don't get the opportunity to make the pretty shot. You got to make a shot,
right?
If you want to get your animal, and that's always the hardest. And that's something that I feel like with deer, back in the day, whenever I lived in Idaho and was shooting deer, like there was times where I could have had me a few really nice bucks, but because of my hesitation, because I was questioning the shot or whatever, I ended up totally missing out on the opportunity. So that's always the tough one is do you pull up and shoot and don't think about anything except where that bullet's going, or do you try to ethically think it through? And I don't know, but those wild animals, though, they're not going to stop for you and be like, hey, have you made a decision yet?
Right. True.
You know what I mean? So
I'm going to be right here getting a drink of water. Just let me know if I can start running.
Yeah. Hey, if you decide to shoot, I'll start running. So, I mean, but I don't know. It's always tough. And that's something that I know I got to work on is is maybe sometimes I don't have to have the most beautiful shot, and sometimes I just need to pull the
I think,
trigger.
if it's got to be a quick shot, like this is so growing up, when I was knee high to a grasshopper, starting to carry a rifle to hunt. I tried to, my whole thing was I want to be, you got to hit that broadside shot, and oh yeah, I got to do that. And then, a couple of years of hunting, I'm like, well, I don't ever get that perfect shot, so, and I kind of went like, I don't really care, as long as I shoot at the animal and wound it, then I can follow up shot, and, and so, that my mentality went to that for a couple seasons. And, then after I got a little older and a little more mature, I got thinking about that, what ethics do I want to hunt by? And then, I kind of come to my own personal thing of hunting is, you want to make sure you're giving that animal the respect it needs, and making sure you're giving a good shot. Like you said, it may not always be, the pretty, like shot, but if you have the opportunity to know you can place that bullet where you're going to be able to take the animal down and not cause it to, to feel pain for no longer than it has to, then go ahead and take it. Yep. But, if it's one of those shots where it's like, oh, well, I know I can hit the animal, but I don't know where I'm going to hit it at, then I'm probably not going to take that shot.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you just can't, like, you can't be that immature about it to just take a shot just to take a shot and pray and hope that you get lucky. But it is like, I guess that's the pressure of the hunts themselves is you get, like, that's a lot of pressure at times. I mean, I've been in those situations myself, and most of the time I pull back, and then I've regretted it and beat myself up that I didn't make the shot, and I'm like, I should have just made the shot.
I can see you got a buddy.
Yeah, we got a buddy in here. I got a fly in here. But yeah, like, I've regretted that, and
you got some pretty cool dance moves there.
Yeah, but yeah, so I've definitely regretted not taking the shot. I don't know. In hindsight, maybe it was a good thing, but yeah, I definitely.
Like, you kind of go back to that elk that I had running through the woods. Like, now looking back, I'm like, well, it was a close enough shot that it wasn't like my bullet had to travel 100 yards. So like the time that from the time I shoot to the distance the elk moves, it wasn't going to be that much. Yeah. So in my head, I'm like, I should have took that shot. Like, I knew my gun was on, but. And I go back like, no, like, I did the right thing. Like, I feel good about that decision. Yeah. Did I miss an opportunity on an elk? I did, but, end of the day, that elk didn't have to suffer, any more than it had to. I'm sure maybe the next year somebody else got it, but, that's cool. But, that elk, didn't have to suffer because of my, selfish desires, just
Right.
pulling the trigger to see what happened.
Right. And I mean, at the end of the day, that's just mature hunting for sure. So, I don't know. I mean, and it's all learning experience too. I mean, I feel like, especially trying to get your first elk and stuff, you kind of want to make sure that it goes down. You don't, I don't know, like, you want to get a little more experience under your belt before you kind of make those kind of decisions too. I mean, I would think, at least for me.
Right.
Because I know whenever I get my first elk here in Colorado, I'm going to I want it to fall down pretty fast. I don't want
Right.
to chase
True.
it. And so I don't know, but no, I
I mean,
think
that's
you made,
not to say like, that's not going to happen. Even if you do make a good shot, there's always little things, but yeah, you trying to do the best you can to minimize those chances, but they still happen.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, for real, they do. And I don't know. I guess that's all part of the excitement I mean, all those little things that can happen. And, between the pressure of trying to make a clean shot to, trying to get your first up. I mean, just all the pressures of elk hunting or hunting in general. Like that's what makes it so exciting and fun is to, that's what keeps you going back though. I mean,
Yeah.
at this point, I've given Parks and Wildlife plenty of money for really, well, you know what though? I take that back because especially with you being able to come meet up with me and stuff, um, I feel like that's half the fun of hunting is, it's an opportunity to have a common goal with your fellow buddy and, trying to go for the same thing, but also being able to hang out and, and just getting to have that time with your friends. And so, like that's the beautiful thing about hunting is the community part of it too, is
True.
having the
True.
friends and hanging out. So,
But I want to put on the record that uh we may not hunt the hardest, but we are out hunting. It's not like we do talk quite a bit in camp, but we do go out to hunt. We don't just go out and drink knee highs or 7-Up.
no, that is true. Like, I mean, we're out there, we're pounding the dirt, and I mean, we covered quite a bit of ground this last year and the year before. This last year, I guess I was kind of, I don't know, have we talked about it yet in the podcast? Because I keep laughing at I keep like kind of laughing at myself, or
I
well,
don't think we have.
what I keep doing is regretting that I didn't listen to you, and I was so determined. So we were up on this hillside, and I was so determined that the elk were down in the darker timber. So I was like, I want to go down and we'll walk out the creek bottom. And like before we started our descent down into that creek bottom or toward the creek bottom, you're like, I was like, do you want to go up top or you want to go down here? Because I was like, I really want to go down here. I just determined that they were down in the dark timber. And you were like, it's not a clean, like you're just gonna walk down the creek bottom and everything's gonna be and I'm like, oh, that's all right. That's like there's elk down there, it'll be all right. And we started walking down there, and I mean it wasn't the most extreme terrain that I've ever even walked in, but it was
True.
getting dark and everything else. And long story short, if we would have just walked up on top of the hill, we would have got back to the vehicle like right at dark, maybe just a tiny bit after. But no, we had to go my way, and the trail, it started getting really dark. The trail was not a trail at all. We were kind of creating the trail at some points, and it was completely dark, and it was pretty rugged terrain down in there. And I just always laugh at myself about it because I'm like, I should have just listened to Joe, and we just went up top. We might have even had more luck, because they might have been
True.
they might have been starting to work their way out in that field. And I wish that I would have went that way, but
Well, I mean, that's one of the things too, is, like for me, I think I was only there just that Saturday. We got up Sunday and went home. But that's one of the things that we're learning is what to expect in certain terrains anymore. So like who knows? The elk are going to be where the elk are going to be. If they could have been down there, you don't know until you start pounding the dirt.
Yeah. No, you got a point. And I don't know. It was a lot of fun, but I feel.
I just remember getting to the end of the creek, and you're like, all right, I'm waiting here at the road, and you're going up to the Jeep and coming back and getting me. And I almost held you at knife point to get you to
go. Well, yeah, no, I did get kind of strong armed to go walk with you, but no, it was quite the hike out of there, but it was fun. And I don't know. I just kick. So one of my problems that I always have is I'm always like curious what's over the next, what's over there that I can't see. And that's what was drawing me to the dark timber mostly is I was like, I just like put it in my head that they had to be, cause we were kind of already up on top, which where we could have turned around, like we didn't see that area. We didn't walk that area or anything, but in my head, I was like, well, we were kind of all technically already up on top. I don't want to really backtrack. I want to make my own original loop. And I'm so curious on what's over on the other side. Anyways, I think that gets me in trouble sometimes. It makes me impatient. And I don't know. I'm always just, it's good to cover a lot of ground whenever you have that mindset, but
that's what I was going to say is, no, it's just that sometimes you have to have that mindset to be able to find the elk, what's on the next side. If you're not seeing anything where you're at, there's no sign, you got to kind of keep moving. If that helps you stay motivated, then, but at the same time, sometimes, if you're seeing the sign or I don't know that, I feel like that's what we did 2 years ago when we saw those cow elk is, we kind of left an area where the elk were moving through and we saw a lot of rubs. Did we? I can't remember, but I just remember thinking like we didn't really maybe give that area as good of a chance as we probably should have, or just because we saw elk there and we saw a lot of sign. Whereas last year, we did hike around quite a bit. We saw a sign on that one area. I wouldn't say we didn't see. Did we see any rubs? I don't know if we saw maybe 1 or 2 rubs.
I don't
maybe.
I can't remember.
We did.
I can't remember.
We saw more tracks and elk droppings, some elk duds, but and then we went to that other side and we're thinking that maybe that's where they were. We went over there with a plan, thinking that's maybe where they got pushed to or where they're at, but we didn't. If we had more time, we probably could have figured it out. But they just, there wasn't any sign but cows. California slow elk was all the sign that was on that other side.
Yeah. I guess I wish we would have had more time to kind of hit that area even more. I wish we would have had another day or two to be able to hit that area, because I think we were onto something there, and I don't know, but that's all part of the process. That's all part of the elk hunt, and I don't know. That kind of makes me think of something that I wanted to talk about, like so this podcast, The Struggling Hunters, it's obviously talking about the struggle, and we've been kind of really focused on the hunting aspect of it and everything, but part of that the struggling hunters and our struggles and trying to be more successful, there's people out there that are just, they can slay an elk every year, and they're some top-notch hunters, and but for whatever reason they don't choose to do a podcast, and me and Joe, we're talking about our struggles, but we're kind of reaching out to the people that are like, hey man, that's me too, man. I'm tired of listening to all these guys that are always being successful, and obviously we all want to be successful, but it's kind of nice to there might be an angle there where it's kind of nice to know that other people are with you, but you know, the reason me and Joe are doing this is because, you know, this is our passion. Like, we just have such a passion for hunting, and you know, that's we also have this want where we want to do a podcast and talk about our passion, and you know, a lot of people say that's to be successful, you know, you got to do your passion, or you know, success comes with doing your passion. And I don't know, I think that's why we're here, you know, is because, you know, I would love to be like, well, I've killed an elk, you know, for the last 15 years every year, but I can't say that. But I can talk about my passion and my love for just hunting in general. And you know, there for a few years, whenever I first moved to Colorado, I was kind of trying to figure out which way I wanted to go, which direction, as far as, you know, whenever I lived in Idaho, I hunted every year. That's all I knew. But whenever I moved out to Colorado, I had so much changes, and I was working a lot too, working in the oil field. I was working a lot. And so hunting kind of took to the back burner, if you will. But the last few years, you know, the last 4 or 5 years, I've kind of really flipped it around, and I've been just getting obsessed again. And now, like, I think having that those years that I didn't really go hunt, or kind of, I just didn't go hunting. I mean, that's what it is. Call it what it is. But it kind of reinvigorated my passion for it, getting back into it and going, God, what have I been doing? Why did I miss all this? So I don't know. I just wanted to really, like, kind of explain that, I guess, is like my passion. Like, you know, I just love talking about my passion. We could talk about hunting. I mean, that's what we're doing, but we could talk about it all day long, go back and forth and just talk about hunting. And so I don't know. I just wanted to kind of put that out there, I guess, you know, about my passion. So I don't know.
Yeah, no, I felt it. You know, I thought you know, it's coming from the heart there. I didn't know if you wanted a hug or something afterwards or not, you know.
Yeah, we'll figure out a way to give a virtual hug, a little screen time virtual hug. There you go. Yeah, we got it. No,
But
like,
yeah,
but I mean, you know, well, it's just something that like, you know, I don't know. It's probably my own insecurity or my own pressure, but you know, just something that I kind of wanted to put out there. Like, hey, you know, I'm doing this because this is my passion, and you know, I'm wanting to take people on the journey that feel the same way, that have been through the same struggles, and you know, whether mine are more extreme or not, you know, like, I just, you know, that's what this is all about, is just trying to make that community stronger, trying to, you know, I mean, it's me and Joe's excuse to be able to talk to each other about hunting.
exactly. You know, it gives me someplace else to talk. You know, like that's. I think my wife kind of you know, she'll listen to me, but it's, you know, it's fun to talk with Eric about, you know, what I enjoy doing, hunting and whatnot, and doing all that. And whether we're successful or not, you know, you always leave hunting camp with the story. And that's one thing I like, is I like creating stories, whether it's a successful hunt or not. You know, whenever, you know, this last hunting season, we got stories from tents burning to, you know, the season before that, we got stories from, I don't know, I remember having your son, his finger maybe cut off, and and, you know, having that cow elk that was walking around camp making a weird noise that we didn't know what it was. And, you know, but that, for me, you know, that's part of my passion too for it all, is I like being able to create, you know, memories and stories. I think that's fun. whether
Yeah,
you
for
get
sure.
something or not.
For sure. No. One thing I want to clear up is my son has all his fingers, but he tried to give her the old college try and chop a few of them off. So uh you could say bad parenting. I feel a little bit
Well,
bad about that one.
I was right there with you with it all. Yeah, he's fine.
Yeah. Well, whenever I was watching him, I'm like, oh, he's being pretty safe, and hey, careful how you swing that, blah blah blah, and then turn around for a second, and all of a sudden, ow, 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 dad, and I'm like, what happened? What'd you do? He's like, shot my finger. I'm like, why would you put your hand on top of the piece of wood and throw the axe down? I'm like, what are you thinking? But needless to say, though, he's kind of stayed away from the old axe since then. So
Since then.
yeah. He doesn't want no part of that axe. So it's been good, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know where to really go from there, but yeah, I guess I just kind of wanted to get that out there about why we're doing this, and like I mean, we have struggled a lot and everything. We've had our successes. It's been a long time for me. I mean, you've had more recent successes, even that little buck that you got a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Um, so but I mean, this is the struggling hunters for a reason. But I just kind of want to get that out there, because I don't know, just like I said, it's probably my
Well,
own insecurity, but I just wanted to kind of.
I was one of those things, just thinking, the struggling hunters, and I kind of think, like, oh, it'd be cool if we change it someday to the successful hunters, but I don't know if that'll ever happen. Like, I feel like it's always going to be some way, shape, or form with somewhat of a struggle, even if you are successful. You went through highs, you went through lows. There was roller coaster getting to where you're at. So you just got to keep going. Keep pounding the ground, keep one foot in front of the other, and even you experience the good times, and you're going to have some hard times.
I feel like the only changes that will really happen in the future, like I feel like this will all kind of be the same. I mean, hopefully we can get on here after this season even and be like, hey guys, we got some big bulls in the background here. But I think the only like in reality, if this podcast and kind of doing this stuff, like it could open up opportunities where we get some really cool opportunities to hunt. I mean, selfishly, I hope that does happen, but it's really not what it's about. I mean, this is about just kind of sharing our experiences and like I said, at the end of the day, just being able to kind of talk about hunting and what we're up to and where we want to go from here and just talking about our passion, like I said earlier. So in the future, like I said, I mean, it'd be really, really neat to get up to get some really cool hunting opportunities that may or may not come our way, but that's neither here or there. I mean, right now it's just about what's going on right now, and right now we're trying to just get successful and figure out these dang Utah and Colorado elk and get ourselves a bull. So with that said, I mean that's kind of where I'm at. Yeah, I don't know. I agree with you. I don't know if we'd ever change it to the successful hunters or anything. I think there's something there with the struggling hunters, and I think the struggling hunters people probably get behind, or I mean, at least that's the goal. So
Yeah, I agree with you.
all right, vote Eric Stewart for president. No, but
So what do you got going on this next week? Like, I guess what you have any goals? You said you're gonna try to do a turkey hunt coming up.
Yeah. So this weekend, I'm gonna try to get up pretty early. Make my boy get up with me, and we'll go out. Probably about a 30 to 45-minute drive from the house here, up in the hills. Try to get out there and see if we can come across some turkeys up that way. So a couple of weeks ago, I went to a whole nother area, and it was fine up there, but it took a little longer. Like, I kind of want a spot where I can, matter of fact, I might even do it tomorrow. I was thinking about going tomorrow, trying to find this one spot that, like I said, is about a half hour, 45 minutes, kind of see if I can, see what I get into, or I just kind of want something that I can, whenever I have extra time, I can run out there and try to get something. And,
Right.
it's no fun. Like, so this weekend I want to get up pretty early, like really early, and get up there and kind of try to get set. But the other area that I was trying the other day, it just takes so long. I mean, it takes probably an hour and a half, 2 hours to kind of get where it could even remotely be halfway good to hunt. So I probably won't be going back up that area. It's really nice up that way, but yeah, I think I'm gonna try to go to this other place that I know of that's a little closer to the house, and see if I can get some turkey up there. But
Makes sense.
the other thing though too is I mean, like I said, the other part of this is if you come up and go hunting with me on one of these elk hunts, like, maybe we could be a little bit, instead of going all the way where we usually go. I mean, that's what, like a 2-hour trip,
Yeah.
or hour and a half, 2-hour trip. I mean, it's quite a ways though to get to our elk hunting camp. And so I kind of said it earlier, but the turkey hunting is kind of why, I'm kind of trying to scout other areas and be like, oh, this would be good for elk season too, So it's kind of what do they call that? Killing two birds with one stone kind of thing.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah, so that's kind of my plans. What about you? You got much plans this weekend, or?
So this weekend, I think we're gonna try to do some camping. Go out in the middle of nowhere, get some camp time in. Social distance that way, get away from everybody. And then I would like to I'm gonna take my bow out with me and do some, practice and try to get some practice in, maybe some nights after work, but then for sure, while we're out camping, get some shots out, shots fired. What do you do do you fire your bow? I don't know, I guess shoot my bow.
Yeah.
Release some arrows. Release some arrows.
Release your bow.
Yeah, release some arrows in the target. But I think that's what I got kind of planned for this weekend, or this next coming up week.
Yeah, I think you kind of reminded me. So I got that Kodiak canvas tent, and I still haven't broke it out yet. I don't think I'll go out camping necessarily, but maybe when we're done turkey hunting that morning, I might go set it up. I'll take some pictures and probably post them online or something. But speaking of, we need to do the Struggling Hunters. We should probably do it before this thing gets released, so nobody takes it from us. But we for like social medias and stuff, to do the Struggling Hunters, like Instagram and stuff.
Oh, true. True.
But,
need to launch that.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's what I got planned. Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna bring up. So I don't know how old of news it is. I mean, well, I think it's within like a week or so. But Idaho, they had a grizzly going through pretty much northern Idaho, or over there by Grangeville. I guess like 7 miles south, or I think it was south. I'm kind of chopping up the story, but I thought it was, the main point is I thought it was cool that the grizzly there was a grizzly spotted through or in Idaho rather. So
Right. I wonder how, like, I wonder where it come from, or like, like you say, growing up, I don't ever
yeah, British
remember people
Columbia.
talking. Oh, is that all?
Well, no, what I heard was they thought it might have been a grizzly that was captured whenever it was a youngin, and and so I don't know. I should have probably read more of the story or whatever, but I just thought it was cool that it was there. But that's what they think it is that grizzly.
Okay. But yeah, no,
Um,
that's it's interesting. That
yeah, yeah,
kind of cool in a way. It's one of those, I would like to see it, but not see it.
yeah. I know, right? I kind of had the same feeling. Like, yeah, I don't know what I would think if that would be the thing that I'd like to see about 800 yards away. I know in our which I know in our last podcast I was bringing up long, or we were talking about long shots and stuff, and I'd probably rather stay have a long shot with a grizzly than have a up close and personal shot for sure.
Right, for sure.
But but yeah, so I thought that was kind of cool. Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of all I got. What do you think?
Yeah, no, that's about all I can story it out for the moment. But
Yeah, yeah, me too. Well, maybe we should get out of here while the getting's good, and uh, guys, stay tuned for the next one after this. I feel like we're getting better and better. This is only our first couple, but I mean, I feel the improvements for sure, and it's only been a few podcasts. So if you are liking this content and stuff, just whatever platform you see this on, make sure that you guys give us some good feedback and subscribe, and help these struggling hunters become successful hunters. So um yeah, that's all I got. What about you, Joe?
yeah, we've definitely covered some topics here tonight. But leave a comment on something that you enjoyed us talking about, or want us to expound a little bit more on. Make sure to give us a like, subscribe. We got more stories. You'll probably hear them all.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, no, that's what I got for now. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, guys, up to this point, everybody that's gave us support and everything up to this point, we really appreciate it. We've had some good, more than what we expected as far as views on our first one, and obviously, hopefully we keep improving and getting better. But yeah, it's been really exciting. We've been having a lot of fun doing it, and we just hope to keep bringing them your way.
When's our next video coming out?
Well, it'll have already been out by the time this one comes out, but it's the third or
fourth?
the fourth.
Fourth?
Monday morning. Yeah, is the fourth on Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah, Monday morning at 8:00 for YouTube, and then podcast is the night before. But we're still trying to figure it all out, so that's probably gonna change in the future. But yeah, so it'll be our next one will be well, we're pretty much trying to get one out to you guys every Monday. So right now we're one video ahead, and hopefully we can stay that way, or at least for a while. But that's our goal, is to try to get a video out every Monday, or a podcast rather out every Monday, and go from there. So yeah, I don't know, exciting stuff. I know that I'm pretty excited about all this. I mean, I've been having a lot of fun. this is most me and Joe have talked since last hunting season. So when we get together, we're little social butterflies. It seems like I think it's all the catching up we're going to do. So that's another reason that we started this podcast, is so by the time we do get to hunt, it's all business, because we've already talked our way through everything. So
True, exactly. He's not lying.
Yeah. So now we'll just stay keep our head to the ground and pound some dirt and get us an elk this year. That's the goal. So, but with that, I think I'm done. Joe, you?
I'm good.
All right. Well, the guys, like I said, thanks for all the support to this point. As always, just thank you so much for the support. We will talk to you next week, my friends. This is Eric. I am out. Joe, sign off.
This is Joe. We'll talk to you guys later.